how you doing? I thought I'd come on today and talk about some bands I listen to, albums from bands I listen to front to back, where I don't see you know, a disappointing song or whatever. I don't skip any of these songs on any of these albums. So I thought today I'd come up with 10 that I'd do that to. This is Mortal Sin's debut album from 1987. This is Mayhemic Destruction. From start to finish, what a classic album. Of course, this was released in '87 with this album cover, but they also released the album in 1986 independently with a different logo there on the cover. And on the back of the album, it says it was recorded in 3 days and mixed in 40 hours, which is exceptional for an album. Yeah, this song kicks off with the instrumental The Curse, which, when played loud at a live gig, is absolutely a great opener for a band. They kick into Women in Leather, also Lebanon. There's also Liar in there as well, in Blood, Death, Hatred, Mortal Slaughter, Into the Fire, and they end it with the title track, Mayhemic Destruction. It's a classic song. We're actually catching up with the boys this Saturday night in Sydney. They'll be doing the 40th part of their 40th anniversary tour for this album. And unfortunately, from the debut album, there's only two guys that'll be in there on Saturday night. It's Matt and Andy. And unfortunately, with the passing of Wayne Campbell, rest in peace, Wayne. It doesn't matter if it's only two originals. It'll still be a great night. And again, on this tour, they have some great Aussie support bands. So yeah, this album, start to finish, always a classic. Also, another album I listened to back to back. It's Mighty Paranoid by Black Sabbath. Yeah, this band, this album, like from 1970, it kicks off with that classic War Pigs. With the drumming from Bill Ward, it's absolutely out of this world. It shows what a class drummer Bill was back in the day. With Tony Iommi's riffs and his bending the strings, etc. Classic opener to a song, and then straight into their single off the album, Paranoid, which everyone has heard. But it's a great song. Heard it was a fill-in song because they didn't have enough songs for the album, so they quickly come up with Paranoid. What a good song to come up with. And they go into Planet Caravan, which is slightly softer, but certainly a great song, and it was also covered by the mighty Pantera as well. I'm not really into cover songs, but Pantera do a pretty good version of this song. And also Iron Man, what another classic song, with Electric Funeral in there as well. That's the first song I learned on bass on this album, off this album. Most people have learnt Paranoid, but I prefer Electric Funeral. To me, it wasn't a very easy song to play, and I probably still don't get it right to this day. But yeah, great song to play. Hand of Doom's in there as well. Another great song. Rat Salad, and it finishes off with Fairies Wear Boots. It's from 1970. What a classic album. Another album I listened to back to back. I got to see this band on this tour in Sydney. Of course, this is Dio with Sacred Heart. What a great album. Phil Campbell again plays on this album. Talented guitar player. I think he's an absolute waste in Def Leppard. I was going to say Deep Purple then, but Def Leppard, I think he's a waste of talent in that band. Anyway, he's enjoying himself. He's gigging away, doing what he does. I can't complain. I wish I had a job like that. Yeah, it kicks off with the song King of Rock and Roll. What a great song. And then into the title track, Sacred Heart, Another Life, Rock and Roll Children, and the single off the album, Hungry for Heaven. What a great song that is. The lyrics in that are one of Dio's classics. And we had Like the Beat of the Heart, another great song. Also Just Another Day, Fallen Angels, and it finishes up with Shoot Shoot, another great album, start to finish. Another album I got into a long time ago, another band. This is another album that doesn't disappoint. This is Entombed's Left Hand Path. Definitely a great album. It's released in 1990. It was their debut album. Of course, it kicked off with the title track, Left Hand Path. Standouts for me are definitely Left Hand Path, Bitter Loss. And it finishes off with Premature Autopsy. Another classic album I listen to from front to back. It's been in my car for quite a while. I haven't swapped it out. Yeah, it's just don't want to. It's just a great album all the way through. So yeah, Entombed, great album. It's the second Canadian band I got into. The first band obviously was Annihilator. But through a night listening to Annihilator and getting to know Canadian bands back in the day, I discovered this band, Exciter. This is their debut album from 1983. This is Heavy Metal Maniac. Yeah, it's the title track is great, but also other songs like Iron Dogs, Under Attack. What's that? Cry the Banshee is in there as well. But definitely the song Heavy Metal Maniac for me really got me in this album. Yes, it's not the first three-piece album, but definitely the first with lead vocals as the drums. I wasn't quite sure. I just thought they had a singer out front. But when I watched a couple of their live clips, it's a bit of a shock to me to see the drummer actually doing lead vocals. It's something you see more now, but back in the day, I'd never seen of at all. Anyway, another great album for me is Judas Priest. This is their album from 1983. This is Defenders of the Faith. Again, another album kicks off with their classic song Free Will Burning. Yes, their film clip's a bit B grade, but yeah, a great album. Free Will Burning, definitely a classic. As long as tracks like Sentinel, Jawbreaker, also classic songs. It'd be better if I put the album the right way. Anyway, there's no editing. Doesn't matter. Some heads are gonna roll. And Love Bites, what another classic song. So another classic album that I listen to from back to back. Definitely doesn't disappoint at all. Another one. This is very debatable for some people. Some people preferred their second album over the first. But to me, it'll always be their first. Of course, this is Metallica with Kill 'Em All. Yes, people prefer Ride the Lightning. Yes, it's a great album, but I think this one just tops it off. Kicks off with Hit the Lights. Of course, in Australia, the first local album that we can get that wasn't an import was Master of Puppets. But this album and Ride the Lightning were only on imports back in the day. There was a band I've seen at Sutherland Hotel. I'm not quite sure when, but there's a band called Falling Saint. Or Fallen Saint. They actually did a cover of Hit the Lights. And they said it was a Metallica song. So I got a copy of this album on import. And yeah, all the way through it. Like the Four Horsemen, people talk about Mechanics, Four Horsemen, whatever. I prefer both versions. But yeah, the Four Horsemen's in there as well. And of course, Anesthesia Pulling Teeth with the mighty Cliff Burton on bass, and Whiplash, No Remorse, and Seek and Destroy, and of course it finishes off with Metal Militia. This, to me, front to back, definitely an album I always listen to. And another album I listen to, this is from 1989, it's their fourth album. This is Mighty Overkill, Years of Decay. The song I heard of this album first was actually Elimination, and the song I Hate is probably one of my classics, because yeah, I dedicate I Hate to a lot of people on my radio show, and those people know who they are, and I thought, yep, that's a great song. And of course the title track, and ending with Evil Never Dies. Great album. It's good to see them on their first tour and the last song they played, and hopefully they'll be out again, but last time I interviewed Bobby Blitz, they weren't planning on coming out because of the cost. So anyway, it's my Overkill album that I listen to from front to back. Another album, of course I've got the t-shirt here. A lot of people don't rate this album much at all. A lot of people say it's probably the worst album they've ever made. But to me, I listen to this front to back. Of course, they kick off with their title track. This is Motorhead's Iron Fist. I think this is a great album. This is definitely an album I listen to from front to back. Songs like Go to Hell, Sex and Outrage, Don't Let Them Grind You Down, and it finishes off with their classic Bang to Rights. Yeah, there's quite a few Motorhead albums I listen to from front to back, and this one does it for me. Not everyone's pick, but hey. And even Lars said at Lemmy's Memorial that he was actually in the studio while they were recording that album over in the UK. Just a story I've never heard of before, but yeah. And we'll kick the last one off with, again, another album that was first released in Australia. This is their third album, but the first one was locally released in Australia. The other two were firstly released on import. This is Iron Maiden's Number of the Beast. It's the last song with the mighty Clive Burr on drums. Rest in peace, Clive. Great drummer, great album. Kicking off with a song that's people found a little bit different from the Maiden style, the track Invaders. I thought it was a great opening song. And of course, after that, with the Mulder, Children of the Damned. And of course, the title track, Number of the Beast. What a great song. And their single, Run to the Hills. So then it finished off with one of the best songs that I think Maiden has ever written. Well, I think in later years they actually copied a part of it. But Hallowed Be Thy Name finishes off this track. And they threw in the song Gangland to finish off the album because they're running out of time, which is a song that the band, or most of the band, don't like, but they had to hurry up and finish the album to start the tour. But anyway, it's still a great song to me, Gangland. You know, that's Iron Maiden's Number of the Beast. Well, that's 10 of the albums that I listen to from back to back. I'll do another series later on. There's quite a few albums that I do that to. Anyway, till next time. Catch you later.